Broadcasting live from desert on the plain of Thunder Junction, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham, and joining me this week is Kathleen.
Hello.
And Cameron. And today we're talking about Thunder Junction. Sorry, Outlaws of Thunder Junction, the forthcoming Magic the Gathering set.
Have they announced that desert is the basic land?
No, we made that up. That's not, I should say, for real.
Yeah.
That's not a...
It's some informed speculation.
If it's in the set, then that is an educated guess.
I keep thinking of the time that, like, this kid at, our friendly LGS was really hammering me for, like, the insider scoop on what was going to be reprinted in cons.
Right.
And he just wouldn't take no for an answer and wouldn't accept that I, as an actor working for a company that makes unrelated videos for Wizards of the Coast, did not know what was coming up in a set that was going to be printed in 6 months. So I was just like, yeah, fine. They're reprinting all of the Onslaught block fetches. And he said, what, really? And I was like, no, of course they aren't. And so he, lost a bunch of money on that.
Because they did reprint the Onslaught block, but Cameron legitimately did not know.
It was like the gift of Apollo, right?
Just to ruin this jerk's day.
Yeah. And then he hated me for it afterwards.
The universe smiled upon you.
Yeah.
But in a very Cameron way where, something objectively funny and enjoyable happened, but you still got punished for it.
Yes. Yeah. It felt great, honestly. It makes for a great anecdote.
Oh, yeah. I love it. And thanks to all those reprints, those fetch lines are now cheaper. And if you want to get them, you can do so at our sponsor, Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. Tell them we sent you. Ask nicely for a button, and they'll send you one that says a funny thing. And I believe right now we are on move to Newt step, which is commonly called the attack phase, but that's boring. Also, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you in the various ways that you can do that, such as our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Today we are going to talk about Outlaws of Thunder Junction. We do have a preview card coming up, but it's not Desert, and that's the only card that I know about. There was a leak. I didn't look at it. So all I know are the cards that have been officially revealed, and the one that we can't tell you about yet because it's our preview card. But I will say I'm excited to hear your thoughts about it. But yeah, it's Cowboy Magic. It's Yi, and in the second main phase, Ha, and we're here to do crimes, among other things.
I love the idea of crimes. Also, I love that the sort of the edge cases you can say, well, if it's not targeting, the Meat Hook Massacre is not technically a crime.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
That's just an event.
Yeah. It happened.
Yeah.
A Meat Hook Massacre occurred.
Yeah. We'll explain what that means shortly. So, Thunder Junction, I don't know who named it that because it must have been recent, is basically, it's a desolate desert plain where some people ended up thanks to Omen Paths, and that's sort of where they're...
It's cowboy themed.
Yeah, it's cowboy themed. Now, I do appreciate how Wizards has handled certain things recently, like, for example, in Lost Caverns of Ixalan, sort of like cultural representation and the like. And I also don't begrudge them that their solution for how to handle that in a set themed around the Wild West and cowboys was to just go, no one lived here. There are no indigenous people in Thunder Junction. Nobody lived here. It was completely desolate. And then the Planeswalkers arrived. And we're just going to go with that. And I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things, right? Like, Oh, sorry, Kathleen.
Oh, no, just I don't want to interrupt you, but I have something I would like to chime into before we fall deep down this hole.
Yeah.
Please continue your thought, Cameron.
Oh, well, I was just thinking of, like, you want to create a setting because you enjoy the vibe and the aesthetic of something, and, like, I get it. I don't hate that. It's just, like, it's one of those things that you see kind of, like, creative people trot out as like it's not a problem. I don't hate it at all. Right? It's just like how in Theros, the human city states aren't slave states. They just aren't.
Yeah.
Right, so we don't have to deal with the Boros state having helots.
Yeah, I mean, like that's why I said I don't begrudge them. But it is, there is an aspect of like you're using all of the aesthetics and visual stuff of a real time in our history, and just sort of because you're making it up, because it's fantasy, you're just saying, but without anything that was bad.
Yeah, it's all the fun parts without the bad parts.
Yeah, we're not going to deal with the bad stuff. We're just going to say, but the bad stuff didn't happen this time.
Yeah, which I mean, like, to a certain
and it's like
extent,
I get it, but on the other hand, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was kind of present in Manifest Destiny too. It's just like all this empty space. There's nobody there, which means we can take it.
Yeah,
and like a card game, just I don't think they have enough trouble telling their story without like trying to engage with this in a mature and wholesome, or wholesome being like in its entirety,
like nuanced, and painting an accurate picture. Yeah, they have enough. Like, please, they have such restricted word count and what they can do. Let's just focus on getting the characters right. We can get like the deep, like.
Yeah.
It was challenging enough to get across a murder mystery in a Magic card set. I can't believe that anything approaching the nuances of colonialism would be able to be, told with any grace.
I think there's a venue for that, and I'm not sure it's
not
the side
cards.
stories of Magic the Gathering, but I think it's nice.
I'll go further. I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting because it is sparking a discussion about it, and maybe people will come away getting some new information about the history and understanding a little bit more about why it is kind of touchy and bad, and why we do need to be like, well, for the purposes of our children's card game, let's ignore all that horrible stuff, right? So, but anyhow, we're going to have a more fulsome discussion, to use Cameron's word, about the story in another episode.
Yes.
So we have much stuff for you there.
I am still trying to figure out if there's a joke around, like, 2 words, Mana Fest. But I don't know if the joke needs to exist.
It's just it's just like a town party they have.
Yeah.
It's the new EDH breaking enchantment, Manifest Destiny.
Yeah.
Blue green.
Destined Manifest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just ooh.
Just gain control of lands.
Yeah, no.
I can guarantee you no one on Creative Text even would have submitted that. No.
Yeah.
So speaking of crimes, let's talk about that mechanic. There's other mechanics, we assume, but the one that's been discussed is that they have codified what a crime is. It's mentioned on, for example, Duelist of the Mind, which is also the world champion card for Nathan Stoyer. So Duelist of the Mind, 1 and a blue for a *3 human advisor with flying and vigilance. Power is equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn, meaning it's going to be changing all the time. And then this text, whenever you commit a crime, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. This ability triggers only once each turn.
Great. Like 1 and a blue. Flying Vigilance. Vigilance is not something we get in blue an awful lot. I love this card.
It's so good.
I really do, even though it has the coward sentence at the end.
Well, I'm sure I'm sure Nathan Stoyer did not want that sentence added, but they said, no, that would be very broken and you know it. And he was like,
but how many? What about when I draw a card, I get to draw another card?
I'm thinking of, there was...
What if I got to draw infinite cards?
Yeah.
There was... Palavito Damaderosa's card was white, and there was Savior...
He was a 3/1 flyer.
Yeah. But there was the
They're
knight.
all flyers,
there was
have you noticed?
There was the one. Well, no, there was the one knight who was red, and I can't.
Oh, right.
Javier Domingo.
That sounds right.
I think.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like most of the world champion or formerly the invitational cards are at least wholly or partially blue.
Yeah, I mean,
at least the recent ones have been. I'm
yeah,
thinking,
I mean,
like
Bob is
Shadow Mage Infiltrator, Snapcaster Mage, the Fairy Mastermind. This one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bias there.
Yeah.
Let's say there's a bias. There's the noteworthy other ones are like Bob and Solemn Simulacrum.
That's true.
Yeah, but no, there's a heavy blue influence because I think Magic players just like
Value.
the smart cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is committing a crime? It is targeting a permanent of an opponent. Is that what it is?
It is.
It's messing
It
with
is
their stuff.
Targeting a player, anything they control, or any cards in their graveyard.
Okay.
I mess it.
Interesting. So look forward to, for the rest of Magic the Gathering's history, anytime you do anything to your opponent, someone will go, that's a crime.
I
I'll
crime you?
reply with, "Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
Am I being detained?
Am I being detained?"
Yeah. So yeah, honestly, I think this is interesting. I think this is a fascinating sort of design space to be like, you have to do something. Maybe it actually does something in that it affects the game. Maybe it doesn't necessarily do anything. Maybe you're including things that just do stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I look forward to giga criming my opponents with storm cards.
Non-bow with overload. Because if you overload, it takes all the targeting away.
Yeah.
It's untargeted. So wrath's not a crime.
Victimless crime.
Yep. Sacrifice could be a crime depending. Like an edict, target player sacrifices a creature, crime. Each player or each opponent sacrifices a creature, not a crime.
Not a crime.
Totally allowed.
Yeah, everyone had to deal with that.
Yeah, everyone's allowed to do that.
Each of my opponents.
Yeah, exactly.
You're all in it together.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously it's very funny rules text, and I love funny rules text. If you control no suspected skeletons.
There's a certain kind of player that is just going to not say crime stuff all the time, but will smirk outwardly and inwardly, and that player is me.
And who's in charge of these crimes? Well, it's Oko. We found Oko, or presumably Kellen will be finding Oko. I'm curious to see how that shakes out in the story, and again, future episode for that. But here's the sort of the face of the set. Oko, the ringleader. The ringleader of what? We'll find out. 2 green-blue for a 3-mana planeswalker. Static ability. Always scary. At the beginning of combat on your turn, Oko becomes a copy of up to 1 target creature you control until end of turn, except he has hexproof. So you don't get to suddenly get Oko with your creature removal. +1. Draw 2 cards. If you've committed a crime this turn, discard a card. Otherwise, discard 2 cards. So if you haven't crimed, you're just sort of, well, it's card selection, I suppose. But you're mostly just throwing stuff in your bin. -1, create a 3/3 elk. Elks are back. Standard is saved. We were just talking last week, Standard is in a good spot, but it's just really funny. It's like, oh good, elks are back. -5, for each other non-land permanent you control, for each other non-land permanent you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent?
Sure, why not?
That's
Sure, okay.
So just make an illusion of everything that you owned.
what?
And it's like, yeah, I can also, those elks I made, those are,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Boy, that's going to mess up some games of Commander. Holy.
Yeah, I mean...
I hadn't read this
you
card.
You spend 2 turns faithless looting in Simic colors. The downside is faithless looting to +1 him. And then, you just make a copy of all your mana rocks and, I don't know, combo out. It's fine. It's fine. This is totally reasonable.
Huh.
This card is going... I mean,
he's extremely powerful, and that seems apt.
Yeah.
He's got all these incredible badasses working for him. Again, we'll discuss that later.
he +1s to faithless looting.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to discard cards so people aren't going to like that. But also, there's lots of ways to interact with your opponent's creatures in blue,
And if you've done
Yeah.
crimes, it's better than Faithless Looter.
or
Yeah.
just their opponent. You can just make opponents do things. Like it's not their creatures; it's their graveyard. It's them. I mean, blue and green aren't the best colors for that, but imagine putting him with red, which loves to mess with things.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
I mean, like
He's very good in like a Super Friends deck.
I just want to play this with like I don't even know everything. It's a very good card. I don't know. It's the Cameron Lauder guarantee. This is going to be an expensive one, I feel. No, wait. Last time I said that, it was about Jace Vryn's Prodigy, and people were like, Cameron, it's a bad card. It's a Merfolk Looter. And I'm like, yeah, it's a Merfolk Looter that flips into a Planeswalker.
But doesn't
10 years ago, I was right about something.
Yeah,
And-
Jason's Prodigy is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was right. People scoffed. Now I'm identifying Oko. I'm taking a controversial opinion that an Oko card is going to be strong.
Yeah.
There's one Oko that's not very strong. Isn't there like a 6-mana Oko that's like, yeah, that's fine.
I retract my Super Friend statement because I realize he doesn't work with there's no non-legendary clause there. But I still feel like you put this with red, that's disgusting.
Does a crime have to be a spell you've cast, or is it an effect?
Oh, yeah. Is it spells and abilities? James, help.
'Cause
He's looking it up.
What's the question, sorry?
Is crimes spells or abilities? Is it just targeting something?
Give me a moment.
All right.
Because that chain, yeah.
James has to check
I assumed
the
you
rule
have
of
to
law.
target something, like you have to use a spell.
But abilities can target. If you have like Millstone, for example, target opponent mills 2 cards or whatever, right?
Yeah. There's probably more gross things that you could do. I just can't think of them because that's not the kind of player I am. It's like, oh, I'm sure this could be abused, and I'm sure somebody else could tell me exactly how it should be maximally abused, and that's a skill I don't have.
I mean, yeah, like, because this guy just parties with Waterfront Bouncer,
Oh yeah.
right?
I do want to also shout out the set symbol.
Yeah.
It's very clean and readable.
Yes,
Which-
yeah, it's very elegant.
We've had a couple recently that have not been as clean and readable, and it's a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, this is obviously a cowboy hat. It's like, oh yeah, that's a cowboy hat. Like it's a little subtle. It's a cool emblem that is also a cowboy hat and is readable.
I like all the hidden details though.
Yeah.
A player commits a crime as they cast a spell, activate an ability,
Activate.
or put a triggered ability on the stack that targets at least one opponent or at least one permanent spell or ability an opponent controls, or at least one card in an opponent's graveyard.
All right. So it's just targeting
Okay.
activated or triggered abilities.
Okay. So it doesn't trigger off mill effects like Millstone then, because it's not targeting a card in targeting an opponent.
But doesn't Millstone target an opponent?
Oh right. Okay. Yeah. No. This is.
I don't remember
Yeah,
what the card does.
It seems strong.
Yeah. Big fan. Also, because because of the way that the set is, some cards are getting a fancy wanted poster treatment, and they look pretty cool. I don't know if you have the one for Oko handy, James, but would love to see the for those watching the video version. There we go. Wanted for crimes, presumably.
That's not Oko's most attractive portrait.
You ever look good in a wanted poster? I think the only person who's ever looked good in their mugshot is David Bowie.
I don't think that it was possible to get him from a bad angle, honestly.
Yeah, no, he's a profoundly beautiful man.
The another person receiving this wanted poster treatment is, guess who's back for whatever reason? Tiny Bones. Tiny Bones is back.
We love Tiny Bones.
Everyone's favorite
Everyone loves Tiny Bones.
small skeleton. Yeah, 1 black mana for a 1/1 skeleton rogue with Death Touch, and whenever Tiny Bones deals combat damage to a player, you may target non-land permanent card from that player's graveyard, and any mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell.
Oh, there you go. He does a crime every time he does something.
Yep.
You may cast target. I skipped the word cast, and I was like, you may target a spell. I was like, I thought he was just a crime enabler, but no, you also get to cast. That's pretty sweet. So you can, but it does also.
Yeah, like
It am also crime. That's so annoying.
Yeah, he's a little bastard. Like, he's got death touch, so, oh my god. And he literally steals from you.
Yeah. That's
yeah,
great.
all he needs like is skulk or menace or something to be a complete.
Well, this is even. I like this better because then it puts the opponent have to be like, oh god, do I have to block this? Do I have to trade
Yeah.
for this 1/1?
Yeah, and I mean like, oh, I've got a removal spell in my graveyard, so if I don't block, I'm basically like virtually like,
Yeah.
the creature's gonna die anyway.
And you certainly ignore it like the first 4 times, like it does it, because it's 1 damage. I don't care.
yeah,
I don't
It's
have
like,
anything in
whatever.
there.
They're gonna cast a divination out of my graveyard. That's probably fine, right?
Yeah. I don't want to trade my 1 creature for that.
Yeah. Oh right, Gonti commits crimes. That's basically all Gonti does.
I love the flavor.
It's so good. Speaking of legendary 1/1s who people enjoy, Fibblethip somehow wandered his way through an Omen Path and is now Fibblethip Lost on the Range. Great name. 1 blue for a 1/1 with Ward 2. You can look at the top card of your library anytime. That's always dangerous. The top card of your library has plot. The plot cost is equal to its mana cost. You may plot non-land cards from the top of your library. I don't know why that's relevant.
Have they,
I don't-
James, have they revealed what plot is yet?
No.
No.
Okay. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So in Fibblethip's case, it seems irrelevant, except that there will be other things that we'll care about when you plot a spell. Right?
I assume, yeah, like, I wonder if plot is just like you may cast this spell as a copy from the top of your library. So it's like Future Sight, but it doesn't move it off the top of your library.
Oh.
So if you looked at the spoilers that came out, you know what plot does.
Oh, I didn't.
So
I did not
I
look at the
have.
leaks. Okay. Well,
So
tough.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I
I'm
mean,
not.
you can tell, what's the mechanic do?
It's basically, if I recall correctly, it's basically it's a sort of a variant on Foretell. So it makes it. I think it makes so probably mechanically it makes it easier for you to pull off crimes.
Oh, okay.
Crime enablers. Excellent. Crenablers. No. We'll walk.
I
that one
think
back.
that's what I remember from looking at them.
Cool. There hasn't been a lot, honestly, shown of the set. There is one more like spell, which is Hell to Pay. X in a red sorcery. It deals X damage to target creature. Create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt to that creature this way.
That thing was full of cash.
Yep. For years afterwards, lucky explorers who found the cave would chip gold fragments off the rocky walls.
Man.
Okay, this is awesome for limited. It's just like,
It's awesome for limited and construct.
oh
I
yeah, it's
think-
very good in
yeah.
Commander.
Yeah, I mean, it lets you bank mana.
But like it's the removal spell that does exactly what you need to do at a reasonable curve. Right?
Man, I'm just thinking about that invitational card again and how, like, it's so good. But, you know, if you want to attack with it, you have to do it at, pre-combat main. Right? You have to draw your cards pre-combat main. Which, imposes a play pattern. But if you want to use it to block, why, then you simply have to draw cards on your opponent's turn.
I think
Ain't that a thing?
I like effects like this in limited because they're always super flexible.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I just need to get something with 3 toughness off the board, and I'm pretty fine to pay 4 mana for it. It'd be better if it was instant speed.
Yeah, I agree. This at instant speed, man, all-timer.
But if I rip this late in the game, maybe I get to kill something really annoying and I get a refund.
Yep.
So I will freely admit that I've come into this a little underprepared because I'm looking at the Thunder Junction spoilers beyond the cards that we've looked at. And there are other cards in two different categories. One called Breaking News and one called The Big Score. And I don't know what that means or where they show up or if they're in boosters. Do you know?
Okay, so apparently this set was supposed to have an Aftermath style thing, and then after Aftermath did not hit the player experience metrics they were looking for.
Uh-huh. Which they have admitted.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be very like, what would the corporate explanation for people did not find the joy in that they thought it would? That they're like, we'll just put the Aftermath as part of the Big Score, which was the Aftermath thing, as part of the bonus sheet. So there's just extra bonus cards in here.
Okay. And then what's Breaking News?
I don't know about that.
So breaking news.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
Breaking news is the original bonus sheet.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The Big Score, or I think the Vault, is the now second bonus sheet that was originally meant to be the epilogue booster.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's just also in play boosters?
Yeah, I think they appear in the list slot.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe there was an image that went around the other day, I think on the Reddit and on Magic Twitter, that had like all the different set symbols that were available to be pulled from packs. From this, that was definitely causing a stir. People being pretty angry that there's like 5 different set, because there's the main set, there's the commander sets, there's the breaking news sets, there's the vault or the big score sets, and then there's also special guests as well.
Oh, there's also special
There's also special guests?
Yeah, I believe so. God. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a lot to absorb.
so the 2 breaking news cards. Let's take a look at those real quick. We've got Thoughtseize. It's breaking news. So like they're printed in the Prosperity Post.
More newspaper representation in Magic the Gathering!
I love it. Billy, please don't forget to add the headline before sending for publication again. So reprint of Thoughtseize. Looking pretty cool. And there's a variant, like a borderless variant. These are sort of like
I like the old timey font or the typeface.
yeah, I like that too. And the style of the art is very cool.
Oh, wow. They've done separate creative text for the newspaper versions and for the that's very indulgent. I bet the creative text writers had a lot of fun doing that.
And the other one that we've seen from this set is Crime and Punishment, which, if you don't remember this one, because I sure didn't, it's 3 white black. It's a split card for those not watching. 3 white black. For a sorcery, put target creature or enchantment from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, or punishment is X black green. For a sorcery, destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value X. And this also has borderless split card it's an interesting one.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
It's kind of pretty.
I genuinely love this.
Yeah.
I really like it.
That is cool.
I like that it makes a panorama and it's more obvious with the borderless version.
Yeah. And then from the big score, which are, I assume, I'm inferring from the 2 that we've seen that these are artifact reprints. That they're artifacts that were stolen as part of the score.
So one of the thing is that like the story, which we will discuss probably next episode because it should be finished. It's not quite finished at time of recording here. Is that they are on a quest to find a giant treasure, and that's a legendary treasure that's locked up on Thunder Junction.
Okay.
And that's why Oko has put this gang together.
I just love that his gang includes Gisa and Geralf.
I don't know why anybody would invite
More
them
than
anywhere.
that, yeah, it's
They're-
like, and Gisa and Geralf. Oko, can we speak in private, please? Now?
Gisa is already screaming and screeching. Geralf is trying to sew someone to someone else. It's immediately starting.
Oko, could you please step into my office?
Good news, Gisa and Geralf fans. Sean and McGuire wrote their side story,
It's so
and God, she knows their voices.
I love them so much and want to be nowhere near either
Yeah,
of
no,
them.
it's such a great train wreck that I'm so happy to observe and not to endure.
Like, the Magic Story is kind of hit and miss in a lot of points for me, but I love everything to do with those two.
They're great comic relief characters.
Yeah.
They're just perfect.
So I guess among the things they're trying to steal is the Nexus of Becoming. 6-mana artifact at the beginning of combat on your turn, draw a card, then you can exile an artifact or creature from your hand, and if you do, you make a token that's a copy of the exiled card, except it's also a 3/3 golem.
Ooh.
And there's like 3 different variants. There's the normal one, there's this one, which puts me in the mind of the Kaladesh inventions, the way that the border is done.
Man, wouldn't it be hilarious if this is where Tezzeret went to be alone to wait out the Phyrexian invasion? And suddenly there's just cowboys, and he's like,
What happened?
That would be so funny because we do know that his plane was abandoned.
Yeah, he went to like a desolate, abandoned desert world. Right, with no organic matter.
Oh my God, that'd be so good.
And the third variant is just an extended art of the other one.
I wonder who in the design in R&D gets the task of designing the like these giant world defining artifacts, right? Like the ones from Ixalan and the ones from Kaladesh. Like the
Like the Immortal Sun. And,
yes, yeah.
I wonder if when they started doing stuff like the Immortal Sun and the Interplanar Bridge and things like that, if they had intended for that all, if they had originally at the time of developing them intended them to all sort of be various MacGuffins for their kind of Avengers plotline, or if exactly like Marvel Studios, they were like, oh, those are the Infinity Stones now, which is what happened at Marvel.
Yeah, fair. I mean,
I was reading earlier actually that in Guardians of the Galaxy, when they filmed it, the orb, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the whatever the orb was, I can't remember what they called it. When they were filming, it was red. It had like an LED thing and whatever, and it was red, and they had to change it in post to purple because
right, like the
during production, during production, they were like, oh, we've decided to reverse engineer that all of these things are actually the Infinity Stones, and red had already been the one from Thor.
Right.
And they're like, so that has to be, that's this one now, so we got to make it purple. So, if they decided it ahead of time, good for them.
Cost $400 million.
Yeah, a studio of special effects artists had to go through and manually repaint
Every frame.
every light source on everything.
Yeah. The other one that we know from the big score is the Sword of Wealth and Power.
Oh, yes, that's the new
which
sword.
Is 3 mana artifact equipment.
Why does it look like it has teeth? I'm sorry.
Equipped creatures get +2/+2 and protection from instants and sorceries. And whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, make a treasure token. When you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. I love we completed the sword cycle, and they were like, but what if more swords?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Sophie still seems like the all-timer because it never misses.
Yeah.
Right.
I do like the art.
I also like the idea that, you hit somebody with a sword and cash falls out. That will never stop being funny to me.
Yep.
Right? Like the sort of body and mind that cuts dogs out of people.
What do you always used to say?
You're full of puppies, and that ain't right.
Yep.
So one of the big, we're going to discuss this, but these are cool things. And I know you mentioned the board or putting you in the mind of the Kaladesh inventions. These are supposed to be, I believe, the inventions of the Fomori, which are
who also made the chain veil.
correct.
Oh.
So they are mysterious and great artificers from the forgotten days of yore.
Because they name dropped the Fomori in Lost Caverns of Ixalan.
They did.
Yeah.
That's the coin empire that Quintorius is going after.
Oh, so eventually we're going back to Chandalar, folks.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
Huh.
I like
I
how
haven't
in this...
finished reading the story because it hasn't finished coming out. But this is been sort of heavily speculated within the Vorthos community, is what I'll say. Is I don't have any information here, but that's basically everybody's kind of like, oh, I think we see what's coming.
Yep.
They've dropped hints to it. We skimmed over it a lot in the Ixalan story because the Ixalan story also had so much other stuff going on. We kind of like summarized this whole plot line as Quintorius is chasing some sort of ancient artifact from the Coin Empire, and that just kind of happens progressively
in the background.
Sort of in the background. Otherwise, he really doesn't have much of a reason to be there, to be honest. And now we've, sort of people smarter than me were like, wait a minute, no, but what is he doing, right?
I kind of like the idea that like Quintorius is just on Ixalan, unrelated to the main plot arc.
Yeah,
He's just there, and people are like, Quintorius, what are you doing here? He's standing in line at a Starbucks, being like, what do you mean? What am I doing? What are you doing here?
He was tangentially there to like do like one or two other things that sort of justified him being there, but really, he didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
No. Got a cool art, though.
Yeah.
That very, very cool elephant, just the front on, very colorful one. Mm-hmm. No, that was super cool.
Also, I really liked in the extended art sort of cash and prizes, or I forget the name. The lines converging on the sword are little grasping hands.
Yes, they're little grabbies.
Yeah, they want things.
Yeah.
They want to possess things.
Speaking of art, I know this is not helpful for audio listeners, but I want to shout out to the basics in this set because, boy, do I ever love negative space and use of the just creative use of the artistry. They're full art. They're sort of desert tangentially related panoramas, and the mana symbols are present in the environment. So in the plains, the plain symbol is in the clouds. The island, the water droplet is the rock of a waterfall spring. The swamp is it is the swamp. The skull is the swamp with some really spiky looking vegetation? ? Are those cactuses? Don't know what that is. The OTJ also has, or Thunder Junction also has floating rocks, presumably. Floating rocks are just a great shorthand for this place. Has lots of magic, as the mountain and the forest. Love the forest. The forest is when I was thinking.
The forest is really subtle.
That's really clever. I like that a lot.
Negative space. Yeah, it's the outline of cactuses.
It's so subtle. So that the artist on all the basics, the full art basics we've seen, is Salvatore Z.
Yazzie.
It's very small on our very far away monitor.
Great work. Kudos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
the forest's really good.
I've just been spending a lot of time thinking about the quiddity of magic, right? Like, I realize we're going to have a lore recap for Thunder Junction later, and this is kind of like more of a big picture thing, right? You know how in this is me, so I'm going to use an example I'm familiar with. A 40K story feels 40K, right? Like it has essential elements that communicate that you are in the universe you are in, right? Without needing to like name drop characters or something.
Right.
And I've always wondered, like, how do you feel something's Magic the Gatheringness, right, through its lore and its storytelling? And I always wanted to say that it is the way that people have to interact with the landscape, right? Like as players, what we're doing is like we're drawing on the power of the land to cast effects, and those effects will be idiosyncratic to the plane we're on, right? Like say you're a planeswalker that has just arrived on Jund, right? And you're like, a monster, I'm going to cast a fireball at it. And what you do is you draw on the local landscape, right? And the effect you get will be kind of what you want, but also modulated through that, right? So the first time you try to like blow away a monster on Jund, you might accidentally like, I don't know, bit blast it instead, right? And that would be scary the first time.
Right.
Right? Because it would cascade, and then like another effect happens, and in another one, you're like, uh-oh, like this place is unstable. And that would feel quite interesting, right?
I like that.
You try to do the same thing on Theros, and you get Magma Jet, which has this weird hallucinatory component to it too, because it lets you scry afterwards. right? Like that would also be freaky. And I just like I don't know. I like when the mana occurs in the artwork.
When the flavor of the plane is represented in, I mean, it's like, spell plus set mechanic to be very reductive about it, but how that makes you feel emotionally. Do we stop to consider that?
Yeah. Yeah, or like, I don't know, you go to Innistrad and you've cast a spell, it's over, but it's still, when it goes to wherever, I guess the Innistrad one is a little more nebulous, right? Like you can call things back after they're gone.
Yeah, things don't die all the time in Innistrad, and a lot of things just leave behind a zombie.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Like
It's
this,
like, ha-ha, woo!
yeah, I
His
accidentally...
corpse is following me around now.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, oh god, it fell apart. What is happening here? Right? Like there's just accidental necromancy occurring everywhere on Innistrad. But like I'm trying to think now of like what the effect is of a think twice. Like it's pretty clear when you cast a creature that you can cast from the graveyard on Innistrad that, it died, I can bring it back again. But like, it kind of invites the question of like, where does think twice go after it dies? Right?
No more thoughts now, only dreams.
Lodged in the back of your head, yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Is Innistrad where things just cannot be let go of ever?
Probably. I think that fits very well.
Yeah, you can't abandon a thought on Innistrad very easily until you call it back.
Until you deal
it's the
with it.
Orpheus plane.
That's why they have so many ghosts and stuff like that, because they literally just can't let go.
Yeah. Okay, I like that a lot now. Sorry, this was a weird tangent, but
I love it.
I mean,
It's a big, deep thought.
yeah, no,
It's not even noon yet, Cameron. So much brain.
I would love to write this. Maybe I should just do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that would be my argument for what the feel of Magic is, and these lands remind me of that because the mana symbol is kind of like woven into the fabric of the plane.
Yeah. Cool. I like that a lot. I don't have a good segue for this, but we're also going to take a look at a forthcoming, a time of recording forthcoming Fallout Secret Lair.
Ooh.
Because they have, I haven't actually seen these cards. I think people were expecting it to be out now, or maybe it was delayed. I'm not entirely sure, but there is a forthcoming Fallout Secret Lair, and I'm curious to find out about it. So, yeah. Steel Shaper's Gift. I assume these are all reprints. Single white mana, sorcery, search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. S is for strength. Oh, hey, is there 6 of them and they start with the letters from special? Special is the
stat block?
That's how the Fallout games do the stat system. It's strength, perception, endurance, I want to say, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. Because it's, they're like, you are special. So S is for strength, the measure of your raw physical power. It affects how much you can carry and the damage of all melee attacks. Okay. And so is the next one start with P? Propaganda. P is for perception, a measure of your environmental and situational awareness. It directly affects weapon accuracy in VATS, lockpicking skills, and successful attempts at stealing items. And it also looks, are these in a panorama, James?
Yeah, they are.
Very cool.
You are not immune to propaganda unless your perception is very high.
I love that it's this is Piper from the newspaper.
Oh yeah.
From Fallout 4. Yeah. So then
You want to take a guess?
So it would start with E.
Yep.
Are they all enchantments?
Nope.
Okay.
This is an artifact. It would be something that you drink.
Oh, elixir of immortality.
That is correct.
Oh, okay, cool. E is for endurance, a measure of your overall physical fitness. It affects your total health and the action point drain from sprinting. And she's just, I love that this Brotherhood of Steel paladin is just surrounded by bottles of Nuka-Cola.
Hey, if you want to get fit, you drink your calories.
You drink them calories. So C. What card type?
Charisma?
It is a sorcery, and it is a
Cultivate?
It's a removal spell. It's a weird removal spell.
Okay, I thought it would be black for
Control
charisma.
magic.
It is white.
It's white.
Condemn?
Nope.
No, that's not How much does it have to do with the charismatic stuff? Probably not condemn.
Charisma.
I have no idea.
Cast out?
Nope.
No, that's not charismatic either.
I might be sending us down.
It casts for 1 white.
Oh, is this one of those like white elephant cards?
Like where they get something.
Yeah, where you like blow something away and then they get to put something for free onto the board.
Like a generous gift?
No.
No.
Final hint. It was originally printed in Conspiracy.
Oh, Council's Judgment?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
There's your charisma.
Okay, right. Your ability to charm and convince others. It affects your success to persuade in dialogue, prices when you barter, and the maximum number of settlers in settlements. The Council's Judgment.
Still love the hilarious like charisma glitches from Fallout 2.
Oh.
Where you could go up to like a shop vendor and say things like, I'll sell you my old and busted shotgun, or I'll sell you my brand new shotgun for your old and busted one and some bottle caps. I'll sell you my brand new shotgun for your old and busted one and some bottle caps. I'll sell you this brand new shotgun for your old and busted one and some bottle caps. Oh, you're out of bottle caps? Give me your shotgun.
I mean, you could also. This is what I love about the old Fallout games is the way that the vendors worked. At least is that they actually had like a specific number of bottle caps and stuff, so you could just like sell them everything that you had, and then pick their pocket and steal your stuff back.
Yep.
And then be like, "Hey, I have this stuff to sell you. So let me sell you the shotgun. 500 caps, great.
Wow.
Hey, I have this shotgun to sell you."
All right.
So that was Council Judgment. So
So this is intelligence. It's a, and they have reflected the parts of special, which makes sense.
yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a blue card.
It's not.
What card type?
It is a sorcery.
Is this a black card?
It is not. It is a white card.
What? Black has virtues. God, this is core mana, color identity erasure.
Oh, of course, intelligence would be white. I see how it is. I get it.
It's a sorcery. It's a white sorcery that starts with I.
I'm never gonna get this.
Yeah, me neither.
It is a tutor.
Oh.
Idyllic Tutor?
That is correct.
Hey. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Search your library for an enchantment. Yeah. I is for intelligence, a measure of your overall mental acuity. It affects the number of experience points earned and reduces the number of dud words when hacking terminals. That's very specific, too.
Yeah, that's very Fallout 4, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
The terminal hacking was so silly.
So
what is that poster in
A.
the background?
Okay, this is A. What's the A? Agility?
Yeah.
Gotta be. Okay, and it starts with an A. I feel like this is going to be some sort of red card.
I think luck is going to be a red card.
Oh, that's true.
Although, so far, it's been blue and white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what...
That's interesting. I don't have the A.
Oh.
The A is the extra card, would be my guess.
Why?
Because there are only 6 that are here to look at on Scryfall, which is where I'm finding these. I don't know where these have been announced. But yeah, the A is missing. So my guess is that it's
Maybe they just haven't spoiled it yet.
I mean, but don't all secret layers come with a special bonus card?
Yes, but why would you do one of these as the
I don't know, because then you don't have to do 8 cards. And
I mean, the
you only have
Princess
to do
Bride,
7.
the Princess Bride Secret Lair, which, by the way, I did get the Princess Bride Secret Lair. It looks gorgeous
So
in
good.
person, and there was a bonus card for it, and it's like an actual in-theme one, which I'd love better than just a random. For like a year and a half there, it was slivers, and now it's apparently like random elves. But the bonus card for the Princess Lair one, or for Princess Bride Lair, was Command Tower. Everyone needs a command tower, and it was like a, like a cross section
of the final like
of the finale. So there's I can't remember physics.
Fezzik at the gate.
Yeah,
with
outside.
the horses. Found 4 white horses.
Yeah, there's Inigo Montoya and the Six-Fingered Man, and there's Humperdinck at the top and Wesley on the bed, and yeah, it's great.
That's really pretty.
Yeah,
actually. I like that a lot.
It's really cool. But I wasn't expecting it. It was neat. It just seems weird that, like, I would think that they would do special as the full secret, because there was like 8 cards in this layer, and I had assumed that they would do special as like we're announcing all 7 of these, and then there's a bonus card that's like something else. I don't know. Okay, interesting.
It is for Achroma, Archangel of Wrath.
See, she's so
She
agile.
seems agile. She's got wings. She looks speedy.
All right, so
well,
L
what's the
then.
L then?
So luck.
Luck. Okay, well, you think it's going to be a red card? I think that's probably fair, or maybe a
Unless it's literally just Lucky Clover.
Oh.
The Wheel of Fortune.
I mean, Lucky Clover, I think, is probably the best guess.
Look
honestly.
gamble. What card type is it?
It's an instant.
Oh.
Oh.
What color?
It's red.
Ah,
Hey, good job.
thank you. Loot. No. Lightning bolt? No, that seems bad.
It's pretty unlucky.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, I mean, no, you feel pretty good when you draw your lightning bolt,
Yeah.
right? That's pretty lucky.
Oh, it's lightning bolt.
Yes.
A measure of your general good fortune. It affects recharge rate of critical hits. I love that it's just narrowly missing Preston Garvey. Lightning bolt. Sure. Why not? Boy, I wonder what
When
the
you
A
top
is.
deck your lightning bolt, you feel good.
Yeah.
Play to your
right.
outs. Play to your outs, folks.
Yeah. Did you top deck that bolt? Huh. Cool. All right. Well, I will probably be getting this if I'm being
yeah, that's
perfectly
fair.
honest. Yeah.
Then we can find out what the A is. I don't know. I hold out hope that it's a black card, but that's just for emotional reasons, not for any like sort of practicality or game building.
Well, there's only one card that we haven't seen, and there was no green either.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
going to
but-
say there's 3 white cards, a blue card, a red card, and an artifact. So
Who cares about green though?
I mean, yeah, I do point out that Fallout is very like Americana.
That's true.
So if they're all red, white, and blue, I feel that's probably
Oh. Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks. Hey, that's going to do it, I think, for Tap Tap for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I did.
Yeah,
This
it's a
was
lovely
a
discussion.
nice chat. I really enjoyed your digression there, Cameron.
Oh, thank you. I just started thinking about it and thought, like, yeah, I would probably get freaked out the first time I cast a spell on Jund.
Yeah.
And it's just like, kill the monster. Why is this elf here now? Who are you? Where did you come from? Goodbye.
She's so fast. Yeah, if you want to pick up some cardboard magic of your own, you can do so at our sponsor, cardkingdom.com/LRR. Tell them we sent you. Get a button. We appreciate it. And more so, we appreciate your continued support of us and everything we do here at Loading Ready Run on our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Thank you so much. Until next time, I've been Graham, joined by Kathleen
Bye-bye.
and Cameron. James has been on tech.
later.
And Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.